Hey guys, so as you guys know that we had a problem with the ceiling, so what we have done is we are actually just going ahead and giving it any different color that you guys really want to. Just go ahead and simply give any color to the whole ceiling. It's completely fine, and that color is basically going to help us change the whole look of the entire thing. So right now I'm giving it yellow, so don't worry about it. I'm giving it yellow because I think that there is some glitch sometimes that happens because of the material override and things like that. That's why it does not really look very nice. But what I can say is that now when we give these materials over here, we can simply go ahead, and I'm sure that Vray will now pick these materials up. So the glitches happen, but we should know how to solve these glitches as well, correct? So now once you guys can see, I've actually taken out another, just given it a random ceiling, a yellow color. Of course this is not going to be the final color, but I've just kind of put that out over here. You guys can see when I go ahead for a render, we can actually notice that the yellow color is actually showing up right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to make changes in that definitely. So I'm going to stop this, and I'm actually going to set up an interactive render, because I like it when I'm able to see what's happening while I'm making those changes, and that's really helpful as well to all of us. So over here we're going to change this into paint, and I'm actually going to change that paint color close to white, of course. So we'll have something which looks somewhat like that. You can see that change actually exhibiting on its own. So for that I'm actually going to just have to, I think, stop this and go back to an interactive render to actually see that change being applied on it all together. And now once it starts, we can see that it's still showing it to be yellow. Again, as I told you guys, that there are a lot of times that we kind of are going to face somewhat certain problems when we are actually viewing these things, but we need to make sure that we're sorting them out now. So as you guys can see, this is becoming yellow. What I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go ahead and switch this diffuse off, so that we might be able to now change. The pattern has not been taken over. And we can see this is the yellow. We'll change this into paint, make sure that this is, I think that was another color that we actually changed, that's why we were not able to see it. But over here you guys can see that we can make this into white simply, and over here you will actually be able to see that change now. And we can see that the ceiling is now portraying itself to be white. And what we had initially changed was basically this light over here, and this light would now become emissive, and we'd actually have to give it a little yellow tinge, somewhat like that, and we can increase the intensity of it. Now when I go back into my scene 3, you guys can actually see how this whole thing is kind of looking to be like, and I really think this is coming out to look out really nice. I think we have done a good job with the materials as well as with the lights. We can definitely add certain amount of texture on the bed, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to import proxies as well. And what that proxies basically mean is, like I've explained to you guys in the previous topics also, proxies are something that make the file very heavy. So we create a proxy out of it, and then we use the proxy over here, so we're not able to see the thing very properly, but in the render it comes out perfectly. And two things which we want to make proxies of are the files which I've given you. One is for the clothes which are hanging, and one is for the clothes which are folded. So I'm just simply going to open up those right now, and this is basically one of it, which is the clothes that are actually folded. And you guys can see over here that I'm going to click on select the whole thing over here and make this into a group. And the minute I make this into a group, I can actually export the proxy, and I'll be exporting the proxy over here, calling it clothes. So VR mesh it becomes. So let's say clothes 1. We already have one cloth saved. Once that is basically done, it says, do you want to replace the selection with a proxy? And actually we'll say yes over here. And the minute I say yes, you guys can notice that this will initially turn into a very broken up kind of a shape, and this is basically what's called a proxy. So it becomes very easy for us to use. I can actually save this and keep it with me if I want to use it somewhere else. Similarly, I'm going to go here and I'm going to select these clothes, and I'm going to make them into one group first, and then I'm going to shift this and export this as a proxy as well. So I'm going to call this clothes 2, and I'm actually going to save this, and it's going to ask me another same time, do I want to change this into a proxy over here itself? and if I say yes, it too will become into a broken up entire look. You guys can see that just happened. You can see how that's going to look. So I have both these right now saved. I can simply get back into this area over here, and you can see the cupboard that we have. Now I've left the proxy for you guys to do, because though this is something that we are doing in SketchUp, we need to make sure that we're doing it properly, because this is what Vray allows us to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say import proxy, and I'm going to actually import clothes 1 as well as clothes 2. So one at a time, we'll import clothes 1. You can see that those have come over here, so I can simply just place this here. And since I'm going to copy this, let me just place it once like this. I can actually go ahead and copy this on top of itself like that, and I can copy both of these down over here simply like that, and another one down over here simply like that. So the clothes are completely there over here. Again, we can import some proxies, this time clothes 2. And once this is opened up over here, we can actually hang them over here the way they were supposed to be. So first we place them over here, simply use the rotate symbol on it and just rotate it like that 90 degrees. Let's simply go ahead here and place these out. Now these rotate and things like that are of course going to be very simple if you guys know SketchUp properly. So I hope you guys have learned SketchUp very well. You can see I'm actually placing those clothes like this over here. And that's basically about how I want them to look. So that's something. Let's just check out the proxy once and for all. So let me just take out a very basic render just to show you guys how it's looking, and you guys can actually see how the entire clothes are actually showing up inside the cupboard, and that really looks quite cool because it's quite easy now for people to understand. Secondly, I really think that this glass is not really playing out the way it should. So why not I select this and check out what's happening with the glass. Oh, the glass is actually quite solid over here. So here we need to change this into glass. Let me just go ahead and simply press glass over here, and you can actually see this changes into glass. Let me make this for color white so it becomes a more open glass, like we can actually have a look within it. Let me reduce the reflection. I think this is something that we can go by. That's something which looks really good. I think this is very nice. We don't need so much of tint in our glass. We want it to be a little bit open. We want it to be able to be seen because there's jewelry behind there. We can actually go ahead inside the jewelry also, and you can see the red color rubies type thing which we're trying to get out over here. Let's try to give this gem. You can actually see how this is kind of just converting to become into like this gem kind of a look, and looks really cool. But I think if we can increase the IOR, we'll actually get a little bit metalish color on it. I think what we can do is something else also. Let's say I select this and put this into a metal. Let me change this diffuse color quickly to red, something like that. And once I have this, I can actually, what if I keep it a generic, increase the refraction, reduce the reflection. Alright, reduce the IOR so we get red color, and we increase the refraction and increase the reflection as well, and reduce the bump and kind of reduce this opacity, so we get something which really kind of stands out. It's really glittery at the same time, something like that. That really looks excellent. I think it looks really nice, and it's there in all over in both of these. So I'm just going to select that, play it out. Now I can actually jump, because it's not going to be that in focus, I can just jump back onto the outside scene over here, simply like that, and we can actually see this particular render now. And I think this is something that we can come up to almost be like a final render for us, for a day render as well as a night render if we just switch off the sunlight. So what I'm going to do is I want to inform you about one more thing, guys, that you can see that we have a window here, but there's no light really coming in from here. It would look really cool if we could have light coming in from here as well. So even though light is coming in from here, there can just be some amount of just a very tone light coming in from here. So for that adjustment, what we can do is we can simply go ahead and select the rectangular light, and you can actually go ahead and add it in this particular window. So we can actually add it over here itself, so you guys can see that all the way to the top. kind of just add it over here. And I can add another plane from here, just kind of running that down all the way over here and adding that one over here. And now when I actually go into my scene over here, you can actually see that that light is coming in from here very slightly, but it's actually making a lot of hue change than it would otherwise. So we need this kind of light to be shown over here. If you want to increase it slightly, definitely you can go into the rectangle lights which you have placed out over here, and you can increase that kind of increment in light, so we have a little bit more light coming in from here. So that's what I really think you guys should do, and I hope you guys are able to finalize everything till this much. Now once you guys reach till this level, what we're going to do is we're going to add a geometry in the in this particular bed. All right, so I'm going to actually get into the particular bed, and I'm going to select just the cover on top, which is basically this, and we can select the whole thing and actually make it into a group. So I'll right click, and you need to be able to select the whole thing till we get the dark blue region. I think otherwise this could already maybe be in a group as well. So let's just do a full out selection like that, and you can see that the pillow covers are selected in this case. Here now I want to make this into a group, but you can see we're not able to make it into a group, and if I can't make it into a group, then I really can't give it the the thing that it needs. So what we have to do in this case is always remember, in this case what you do is you actually make a rectangle somewhat over here, okay, and we select this whole rectangle, as well as now we go up over here and we select this rectangle, this entire surface as well, and then right click and make that into a group. So what this basically does is it lets us make the thing which was not being which we're not able to make into a group till now. We are able to make it into a group very easily because we had something placed below it, which is not really going to be seen in our view. And this is a small a trick which you guys should be able to do, because when you're trying to create renders, you must be able to think about various different things as well. All right, now I can simply add the fur on top of this, and we can just go into fur. You can see that's the fur which has been added. Let me just take out a render of this, and we can actually see how this entire fur is kind of looking at, and we can see the way it's looking the way it should. I really like it. Let me just kind of get it from this angle closer. We can actually see now how this fur is kind of looking. Let me just open this fur up. And over here what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to increase the length slightly. Just kind of get that kind of a nice look with this whole thing. And over here we can actually change the material of this fabric as well. So I can actually change this to a nice nice peach color, nice pinkish peach color, and you can actually see how this entire fabric is kind of turning out to be. I really like the way it is turning out to be. Sometimes things hang over because it does get heavy, but don't worry about that. I'm sure it always just gets better with time. Very light baby pink color, just like that. I really like how this is going to turn out to be. We can actually go ahead for a nice red color as well. We had done that once, and looked it just kind of stood out. I think over here what we can do is we can just increase the length slightly, just making sure that all those are making good changes over here. I think that's great. Now once I'm done with this, I can actually set myself on scene 1 render, and I can just leave it over here. And this is basically how we have kind of set up this whole room. Now over here you can see that the clothes are getting a little pink, purple and things like that. So definitely it depends completely on what you are selecting on the way it's going to look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off the sunlight, and I'm actually going to take out one particular render of scene 3 from here. so that we get a full look at the whole room once before we go in for the final touch-ups in the render settings and then take out the final renders. So just watch this till the end, and I will see you guys in the next topic, and we'll be actually getting into the final render settings for day and night renders. Take care.